All right. So what is a string buffer in a string builder? We saw one. Um, uh, I would not say this is a disadvantage, but this is how the strings are built. So strings are immutable, right? So you cannot change the content of a string. You can't change content of a string, right? So because of that only, we don't have any such methods like reverse string reverse. Directly you can reverse the string, or append some some string to already uh, uh, available string, or insert or delete. So these are like, these all methods are actually related to data manipulation. So we don't have any such methods in string, right? Because strings are immutable, you cannot manipulate the data of a string directly. So for that we do have two other classes, string buffer and string builder, which are actually mutable string classes, right? And in those classes you can actually manipulate the data. So a string buffer is the first class, and second class is a string builder. There is a little difference in these two. However, the method supported by these two classes are same, but there is one difference. The one is synchronized, the first one is synchronized, and the second one is non-synchronized. Okay, so we'll discuss in the on that in last. Okay, so let's try with string buffer class first. So we have string buffer as b equal to new string buffer. Okay, so this is how we yeah. So this is how we create the object of a string buffer class, and whatever the string we want to pass in this, we can just write here. And if we print this CISO SB, it will print hello. Yeah. So the more or less the function is same with string only. Now with this string, I can do various operations like append. This function was not there in string, or insert. Even this function was not there in string, or reverse. Directly you can reverse this string buffer, or I can say delete. So you can just give the start index, end index, and then you can delete the uh, desired characters, right? So the I mean, you can perform the data manipulation in this. So first, let's talk about append. Let me insert some character, and maybe not character, a string. If I can append a string, so hello world, right? And now if I print CISO SB, it will print hello world. Okay, so I have just appended world with hello. So I am actually manipulating the data. Okay. Another method in this is CISO, not CISO, SB dot insert. So insert as in so here you have to give the index from where you want to start. Let's say I want to start from 5510 10 followed by program. Okay, so I have inserted program string from 10th index, or maybe from 11th index, so there would be a space. a string out of bound, offset 11, length 10. 1 second. SV dot insert. Let me try inserting that first position. So M is inserted at first position. Okay. Okay, so basically you will have to insert before the end of the index only. So if you inserted 0, my hello world. Yeah. So this is how you can append. This is how you can insert. You can reverse also. So CISO SB dot reverse. It will just reverse your string. You don't have to perform any, you don't have to write logic for reversing the string. So your entire string is reversed. If you want to delete something, then SB dot delete. So start index, let's say 0, end index, let's say 5. So it will start from 0 and it will delete up to 4. Okay, so it will delete the initial 5 character of a string from this, from the reverse string, because the current value of SB is reversed string. See, so SB. Okay, so initial 5 characters are deleted, DLROW, and finally OLLEHYM is printed. Getting it? So
just one question over here.
yeah,
As we have written the 0, 5, so 0 it will be the first index, I mean,
yeah.
first position D, right?
Hmm.
So D at 0, L at 1, R at 2, O at 3,
Hmm.
and W at 4, right?
Hmm.
And it is taking from next fifth O. So that means 0 to 4 would be the range.
Hmm. Yeah, 0 to
Up
4
to
would be the
5.
range. I mean, as in it will delete 5 characters starting from 0th index.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it is like 5 minus 1.
Understood.
Yeah. So these are the different message functions which are different from actually a string class. We have other functions also which are quite similar to a string, like string sb dot substring, sb dot length, sb dot replace, and sb dot index of, these all string, these all methods are common with string. Okay, so you can do the manipulation with string buffer class also. And uh, on the same line we have string builder class also. String builder sb1 equal to new string builder. Here I can pass, let's say, Java. Okay, in this also I have some methods like append, Selenium. Then I have one method called insert. Insert starting from 0 to then I can just reverse also. Okay, and then I can delete also. So those all are same as string buffer. Okay, so finally SB1 P1 SB1. Let's run this and try. Okay, so initially we had Java. Selenium is appended with Java. Then we have inserted core. Then we just reversed it, complete string. Then finally we deleted from a reverse string. 4 characters starting from 0, right? But are they actually?
I guess that deletion didn't happen.
Deletion didn't happen. Why is it so?
So you have written sb.delete. It should be
Oh, okay, okay.
sb1.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right. Good. Yeah, now it is deleting. All right. So yeah, so delete is also happening, right? So these are the different data manipulate methods available for data manipulations. Right now, the question which would be asked in interview will be, what is the difference between a string buffer and a string builder? Okay, so basic difference between a string buffer and a string builder is a string buffer is synchronized and a string builder is non-synchronized. Right? So synchronized as in it is thread safe, and non-synchronized as in it is not thread safe. Right? So if you have multiple threads to work on, at a time only a string buffer can only work on one thread. So it takes time, right? But it gives reliable result. So at a time it can work on only one thread. But since it is thread safe and it is synchronized, it gives reliable result. A string builder is non-thread safe, so it can work on multiple threads at a time. And it may not produce reliable result. So we don't know whether it will produce a reliable result or not. It may not produce reliable result. Now, when string buffer is recommended, when string builder is recommended. So if you have multiple threads to work on, string buffer is recommended because it will produce reliable result. If you have only one thread to work on, string builder is recommended, since it will work faster on one thread. Okay. So this is the difference basically. So if you say string buffer is synchronized, string builder is non-synchronized, that is also enough. This is a part of multi-threading actually, right? Wherein you have multiple processes scheduled, right? That time it comes into picture, synchronization and non-synchronization. But for the sake of interview, you can just say that string buffer is synchronized and string builder is non-synchronized. That would be enough, I guess, for string buffer and string builder. Other than that, you hardly use string buffer and string builder classes in your real programming. Yeah, any confusion here? It was a pretty straightforward, so I don't think any confusion would be there. But if you have any confusion, you can ask. Naresh, any yeah.
Sorry. Just that thread part, can you explain once again?
Okay. So basically, thread as in it actually concept of multi-threading, wherein you work on multiple threads. Threads as in multiple processes, right? So string buffer is thread safe, as in it can work only on one thread at a time. So let's say if you are looking to work on 10 threads, so string buffer will work on first thread, then it will move to second thread, then it will move to third thread, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Likewise, it will work, right? But in case of string builder classes, if you are using a string builder and let's say you are having 10 threads to work on, then simultaneously all threads will start working, right? So it would be a simultaneous operation. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 will come together,
Okay.
and then there would be operation. So that is the reason it may not produce a reliable result.
Okay.
Right? But in case of string buffer, since it is sequential, right, one after other, so it takes time, but it produces a reliable result. So that is the reason I said, like, if you have multiple threads to work on and you want the reliable result, then go for string buffer. And if you have only one thread to work on, then you can go for a string builder class. Okay. All right. Any other confusion here? Otherwise, we will move on to the 2D array. Right. So we have seen a 1D array here, a 1D array yesterday, 1D array and object array, right? Then what is the need of 2D array? Why we need 2D array? Why we need 2D array?
If I want to store matrix type of data, like rows, multiple rows and columns, then at that time I'll need a 2D array. While 1D array is useful when just a range, there is a range of data I need to store.
So
Just
any real life example for 2D array where actually you use?
Okay, real time example. If I want to print like I mean 10, 20, 30 in first row, second row, 40, 50, 60. And so that would be the 2D array.
Okay. Anything from Naresh and Sitara on this? What could be the real time example of 2D array? Where exactly you see 2D kind of array in real life?
Like you can store data with a different data types. Like you said example yesterday, right? Like the student name and something like employee ID, employee number, name, that kind of, because it's a different set of data.
So that will come under object array, because you can have
Acha.
a different data type in same array. But here it is the 2D array will support only same type of data. So let's say I have some 5 students, and all students are having different subjects, right? Let's say Hindi, English, Maths, Science, and then let's say Commerce, right? And they are getting marks in those. So let's say student S1, S2, S3, S4, S5, and they are getting different marks in 5 subjects. Let's say 45 out of 50, right? 49, 47, 46, 42. Similarly, student 2 is getting some marks. Similarly, student 3 is getting some marks. Okay, so this data will be stored in matrix form, right? Wherein I am having row as well as columns, right? So how many rows we have? We have 5 rows here, right? So this is first row, this is second row, this is third row, this is fourth row, this is fifth row. How many columns we have? We have again 5 columns. 45, 45, 45, 45 will be a first column. Then this will be second column, third column, fourth column, fifth column, right? So to store this kind of data, we need 2D array, wherein I am having multiple rows and multiple columns. How do I declare that? So let's say int student marks, let's say S marks in new okay. Yeah, so this is how I declare a 2D array. I am just putting the marks of 5 students of 5 subjects in 2D array. So I will have 2 curly braces, 2 square brackets here. Okay, and it is actually just the extension of 1D array. In 1D array, I had only 1 square bracket, but in 2D array, I will have 2 square brackets here. And here I am declaring the size, right? So int 5, 5. These 5 are number of rows, these 5 are number of columns. Okay. So how actually it is denoted in memory? So let me take the help of paint. Let's have some 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 5 rows and 5 columns here. Yeah. Now the one block is called as cell. Okay. So this block is called as cell. Okay. So the first position, what would be the name of first position? It would be 0, 0. So this is actually 0th row. This is first row. This is second row. This is third row. And this is fourth row. Similarly, this is 0th column. This is first column. This is second column. This is third. And this is fourth column. Okay. So basically the indexing starts from 0. So that's why it is starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Similarly for column, it will start from 0 to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is just an indexing part, or you can say the address of this cell, right? So the first comes as row and the second is a column, right? So the address of this cell would be 0, 0. Address of this cell would be 0, 1. Address of this cell would be 0, 2. Address of this cell would be 0, 3. This would be 0, 4. Similarly, the address of this would be 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, and 1, 4. Fine. On the same line, this will be 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4. 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4. 4, 1, 4, 4, 0, 4, 1, 4, 2, 4, 3, 4, 4. Making sense? And in each cell we will have data. Let's say in case of students marks, so I will have data like 42 here. I will have something like 45 here. I will have something like 47 here. I will have something like 49 here, 48 here. Likewise for other cell also, I will have data 44, 48, 45, 48. Making sense? Should not be any confusion
Yes,
here.
Nitin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have number of rows, number of columns, and each basically combination of row and column, wherein it is called as cell, data cell, right? The address would be like starting from 0 and then 0 as in starting, the index would be starting from 0 both for rows and columns, and the address of first cell would be 0, 0. Second cell will be 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, likewise, right? Now how do you fill the data in this? So if I am looking to fill data in this, so let me just short this. Yes, let's have S0, 0. Let's say 45. Let me reduce the size. Let's have 3 students rather than 5. Okay, so first would be 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4. This is extra. 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4. 2, 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 41, 2, 3, 4, 5, 44, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I have filled the data in 3 rows and 5 columns. Okay, so this is the these are the marks obtained by student 1. Okay, these are the marks obtained by student 2 in 5 different subjects. These are the marks obtained by student 3 in 5 different subjects. All right. Then the next question is, how will you print this? How will you print these information on the console? So for that we use nested for loop, right? And before that, if someone asks you what is the size of this array, how would you calculate the size of this array? S of size. or maybe s of length. What it will give? What would be the length of array? Naresh, I could not hear you. If you
15.
Okay. Tisha, Sitara, any idea on this?
Not sure.
Okay. So the length is actually 3. It's not 15. We have 15 elements, but that's not length of array. Okay. So length is actually 3. So number of rows are considered as length of array. And if I am looking for how many columns I have, what change I will have to do? I will have to just put 0 here. Any number of row, and then you can just check the length of how many columns we have here. So I'm getting 5. Instead of 0, I can put 1 here also. Okay, and 2 also. So this is how you calculate the length as in how many rows you have and how many columns you have in array. I have 15 element, but that's not the length of array. Okay, then how do you iterate this? I will start my loop from int I equal to 0, I less than equal to 2, I plus plus, followed by for int j equal to 0, j less than equal to 4, j plus plus. See, so s of I and then j. Okay, and then I want a new line after this. Okay, so let's try this and see. Okay, there is no space. Yeah, so I'm getting a matrix having 3 rows and 5 columns. So this is what I stored in an array: 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, and then 44 to 48. Making sense? Any confusion here?
No, Mithun.
Okay, good. So likewise, I can have a float array also in 2D, a double array also, a string array, a character array, a Boolean array. So I can store any type of value. Okay, so I just give the example of integer array, but I can store any type of data here. All right, so basically questions in interview would be around like how do you transpose a matrix, right? So how do you rotate the matrix? So those kind of questions would be in interview in your first round of discussion as in first round of process, wherein you will have to write program for written test. So they might ask you some questions around 2D arrays. All right, so this part is done. Now this meeting is going to end. So why we need input is, let's say I am reading some data from input devices or input using input devices like keyboard or mouse. Sometime I might need to read data from external devices, external files, maybe external rather than external devices, external files. It could be text file or it could be Excel file. It could be, database, right? So from there also you need to read data. Next, how do you read data from application objects? Okay. Where all we require the output is display message on console that we usually do using system.out.println. Maybe it could be either a command line, right? So wherein you execute your program on command line, and it could be on your Eclipse editor or any other IDE. Right. Next would be like display. Maybe you can just write the data on the files. Write the data to files. Okay, so this is how you give the output to the you display the output, right? For input we have one for output we have one predefined method, right? Predefined and built-in actually. That's system.out.println. This will display the output on console. And for taking the input, we use scanner class, right? So you can import this library and then you can use external class. This is scanner class predefined, right? So you have to import this library, import library, and use. And use them directly. So example is java.util.scanner. So this class is a part of utility package, and this package you can directly import in your program, and then you can use the functions of this or maybe methods of this scanner class. External can be how do you read the external Excel file or something? For that we have Apache Py or Excel jar, etc. Right. So for external files, either Excel file or any other file, we download the jars and add to the program, add to the project in Eclipse, and then use them. So that we will see during our Selenium programming, right? So example is Excel jar, right? So we have jar already available, and we import that. We import that jar in our project, and then using the functions of this jar, we can just read the data from Excel file and then write the data to Excel file. Right? So for taking input, we have a scanner class. For returning result, we have println class. This system.out.println statement, and apart from this, user can create your own classes also. So it could be user defined also, wherein you can write your own classes. You can create your own libraries. In the form of classes, package, project, right? And then you can use them through inheritance. Now most preferred as in is if you have already built-in methods, right? Built-in classes, built-in method. Why to go for user defined? But some developers prefer to write their own libraries and use that, but we don't have that option, right? So that needs a lot of expertise. Okay. Now we have three ways how we read the data from console in Java. The first is your scanner class, right? Second is your data input stream. And third is buffer reader. Okay, so buffered reader, actually not buffer reader, it's buffered reader. So out of these three, this scanner class is quite easy to use and it is most preferred. So we can directly use this scanner class, and it has a lot of inbuilt methods which actually check if the input is valid or not. So the recommendation is to use scanner class because it is easy to use and it has some built-in methods which can actually check if input is valid or not. Okay, so now we will understand this with the help of example, how we take input from user using scanner class. Let me go to editor and let's create new program now, a new class rather. Input, maybe I'll write IO. Okay, now first we will create object of scanner class. Scan is equal to new scanner, and herein we pass one parameter system dot in. I will have to import this scanner class from util package. So I have done that. Now with the help of this object, system dot out dot println, enter your name, scan dot next line, then system dot out dot println, your name is plus name. So I will have to string name equal to. Okay, now you have created the object of scanner class, right? So this is the object reference scan and this is the object, right? Now first you are printing the this statement on console, enter your name, and using this, right, scan dot next line, it will take input from user, and it will finally print your name followed by your name. So let's run this and let's check if it is working fine or not. So enter your name, let's say Nitin, enter your name is Nitin. Making sense? If I want the name on the same line, I'll just remove ln, enter your name, Nitin, then your name is Nitin. All right, so it's quite easy to use. You will have to just create object of class scanner, and then using this next line method, right, you can take the input of name. This is your typical system dot out dot println statement, right, which prints the string on your console. But because of this line, you are able to give the input to the program. Any question here?
Yeah, just one question. That
Yeah.
system.in in line 9, what does that do?
So that actually takes the input.
Okay,
Next.
for the next. Okay.
So this is the object of class scanner, and with the help of this object, scan this next line, right? So it takes input from the user and it stores in name.
Okay.
Okay.
And what does system.in does? I mean, I understood that it is an object of scanner class, but what does that do? System.in.
So that's a parameter you need to pass with this scanner class to initialize this. Yeah.
Okay.
Likewise, you can take the input of other parameters also. Let's say enter your city, string city equal to next dot scan dot next. So there are two ways I can give next also. So it will take input on the same line. And see, so your city is let's say plus city. Okay, so it will take input on the first line only. First your name, then your why the cursor is not coming here. Enter your name. Okay, cursor is there, but actually it's writing here. Enter and then your city is coming.
So every time while taking input, every time we need to use the method next line or next.
Yeah. If you don't write this line, then it will just print. If I, let's say if I comment this line, it will just print this. And okay, I will have to comment this also. And let's run this. Enter your name, but since there was no next line method, so it has skipped. And now enter your city has come. Right, and if you give any input here, it will be treated as your city. Yeah, so because of this line only, it is taking the input from user. Scan dot next line.
Okay.
Right, so likewise we can add your
sorry
yeah.
to interrupt. For memory optimization, we can use the same object or the name, and we can continue, right? I mean, it won't be look good in the output, but in real time scenario, I'm asking. So every time writing this scan dot next line is feasible or not? I mean, is it recommended or not?
So scan dot next line for what? For one parameter you are saying?
Yeah. While writing a program, every time we need to write that line for each parameter.
Yeah, you have to write this line for taking input from user.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, so we'll see that in going forward also, Disha. So likewise, system dot out dot println, enter your mobile number, or maybe enter your mobile number. So we will see the uses of this with different data types. So long mobile equal to scan dot next long. see. So plus mobile. Let me just copy paste this 3 times. Three. So mobile number, then your ID, your value, your character, mobile number, your ID would be integer, int ID equal to scan dot next int, then your ID, your, let's say, what else, what can we use here? Let's say I want to use a double. Double, how can I use? Let's say enter your text bracket, double text equal to scan dot next double, then for taking the input of boolean, enter your value as in true or false. So boolean value scan dot next boolean, your do you write your value only, then for storing any character, enter your gender, let's say, so char gender equal to scan dot next char, right? Or directly we can use it next here. Yeah, we can use next here. Next dot caret index 0. This is how we use your gender equal to GM. All right, so we have seen string, we have seen long type data, we have seen integer type, we have seen double, boolean, and character type. So let's run this and check if it is taking the proper output or not. Enter your name, Nitin. Your name is Nitin. Enter your city, let's say Pune. Your mobile number is, let's say, 9953790460. It is giving your mobile number. Enter your ID, let's say 1234. Text bracket, let's say 20%. Value, let's say true. Gender is male. Yeah. So it is able to take input from user in form of string, in form of long data type, in form of integer type, then double, then boolean, and then character, right? So these are the most frequently used data types. So for character, you need to ensure that you are using the right method here. Scan dot next dot char at index. Right. So this is what is index is here. Making sense?
Yes, Nathan.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, let's say I want to take multiple inputs from user. Let's say I want to take input of 5 mobile numbers to user. Then how will I do that? So here I am taking the different data type inputs, right? And if I am looking for taking the input of same data type, then I will not write this 3 lines again and again. How will I use that? How will I do that?
Can use loop.
Okay. So yeah, that's right. We will use loops. So let's try that. First, we will have to create object of scanner class. Then let's try one loop. And I equal to 1, I less than equal to 5, I plus plus. In the loop, what I will do, I will just write CISO, enter your mobile number, mobile, followed by long mobile equal to scan dot next long, right? CISO, your mobile number is what is the error here?
Less.
Okay, so let's run this and check if it is taking input of 5 numbers or not. 1, 2. Your mobile number is this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Your mobile number is this. 7, 8, 9, 10. Your mobile number is this. Your mobile number is this. Your mobile number is this. Yeah. So it is taking the input of 5. It is taking input of 5 mobile numbers from user and it is returning out. Okay. So okay, so that was one. Now that we have already seen, how do you print the output on console using system.out.println, right? So that we do using CISO only. So how do you display output on console is CISO. Let's say I am having int a equal to 10, comma b equal to 20. Now I can directly print a. I can print a plus b also, and I can print some string also in Java world, right? So this is how you print the output on console using, I mean, if you have the variables, if you are actually looking for any, if you're looking out for printing any variable. This we have seen in past also. So that is how it is. Okay. Now next is writing a creating a file on your computer or reading a data from file in a computer. Okay, so for that, any confusion in the scanner class? It's quite easy and straightforward, guys. There is no there is no trick actually here. So you will have to use scanner class, and there are methods inbuilt, and you will have to use methods for your respective data type, and that will do the magic, and you will be able to take input and then finally printing that after you're performing any operation.
Yes, Nitin, it is easy actually.
Yeah,
That is
correct. Easy. Understood.
now file handling, right? So we just looked into how we take input and how we return output. File handling as in how do you handle the files, whatever the files you have, external file, how do you handle them? So from user point of view, what kind of files we need to handle? We need to handle text file, right? Suppose we have data in text file, we might need to handle Excel file, we might need to handle doc file or PDF, right? So these are the files wherein the data is stored, and we might need to read the data from these files and then do the operations on that. In computers, point of view, everything is a file actually. Computer point of view, everything is a file. So whether it is your drive or it is your folder file or it is a database, so everything is a file from computer's point of view, right? So for file handling, we use for reading or writing a data from file, we use buffer reader and buffer writer. Buffer reader and buffer writer. And for handling Excel application, we use external jar. Import them in program and import them in your project, in your Eclipse, in your ID, and then use them. So that we will see during Selenium program. But for now, we will see how do we handle, read or write or create or delete file using buffer reader and buffer writer. Okay, so for this, let me just take the example for this. First, we will see how do you create folder on desktop. Create folder on desktop. Just check my desktop first. I don't have any folder. I have 3 folders: upload, desktop file, and Java training here, right? So I'll try to create any new folder here. So for that, I will have to create object of file class. New file. I will have to pass the path of Java IO. So I will have to import this from Java IO. Okay, so this is different package, right? Scanner class was imported from util package, but file class is imported from IO package. Will return. Okay, so I will have to give the path of desktop here. So desktop within double quotes. See. And what folder I want here is, let's say, Selenium. File of using this object, make dir. And the return type of this is, it returns the Boolean result. So Boolean dir. If folder is created, then it will return true. If folder is not created, it will return false. So let's run this and check whether the folder is getting created or not. So it says true, and let's check. See, Selenium is created here. Making sense? So I have just created the object of file class, and then I have passed the path of desktop or wherever you want to create the folder. Okay, and this is the folder name, and using that object I am just calling the method already available is make directory. Okay, and the return type of this is Boolean result, and if it is creating the folder, I am just storing that in a Boolean variable and then checking the what is the actual value. Okay, there is another way of doing this. Right now I have used two backward slashes, but I can use file object one. Instead of two backward slashes, I can use one forward slash. User desktop, instead of Selenium I will have Selenium 1. And Boolean dir equal to file object, make dir. See, so dir 1. Okay, so earlier I had Selenium, now I am creating a folder with Selenium 1 name. Let's run this and check. Why false? So maybe I will have to change the name. Let me write something with Java cell. Oh, shit. Okay. Making sense? So Java cell 1 must be created on desktop, and since Selenium folder was already there, so it has not created the new folder with Selenium name. That's why it has returned false. So first it is checking whether that folder is there or not. If it is there, then creating new. If it is not there, then creating new. If it is there, then it is not creating and just returning false. Pretty simple, right? How do you create the folder on a desktop?
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Now the next question is, how do you delete the folder from desktop? First you have created, then delete, then again we can do this.
One question.
Yeah.
Can we add any files to that folder also?
Yeah, we will add. We will see. Yeah, first I am just creating folder, and then we will create the file also. Let's how we will delete folder on desktop. How will you create file and then delete file, right? Create folder we have already seen. Now moving on. So for deleting a folder, what we have to do, we have to create object of file ob equal to new file, then let's say I am looking to delete Java cell. Okay, so I don't have to write this. I will simply write file object one dot delete boolean equal to this. So that okay. So first it is creating a folder called Java cell, and then it is deleting the folder called Java cell. So let's run this and check if it is working. False, false, true. This folder is gone from here. Okay, the Selenium folder was already there, so it has returned false. The Java CL folder was also there, so this has also returned false, and after that Java CL folder was deleted, and that's why it has returned true. Okay. The next is, how do you create a text file on desktop? Okay, so for that, again I will have to create object of file only, file ob, then new file, then I will give the path. Let's say I'm creating the folder on this path. Let me try this. Maybe I will write java cell txt, and using this object I will have to create new file. This will return boolean. So boolean f. So f. Okay, it is asking you to add one exception class, right? So it will create, let's delete this one. Let's run this and check. True. So text file is here. Making sense? I can create the another type of file also, like document file. So let's run this and try. If it is creating document file, yes, it is here. I can delete a text file also. So let's say I want to delete text, file object dot delete. Done. It's gone from here. Now I want to delete a doc file also. Let's try that. Okay. So I can create a folder. I can create a file. I can delete a folder. I can delete a file using this file class object. Okay, but I cannot perform internal operations on file using file object. Okay. So far, any questions here? Create a folder, delete a folder, create file, delete file.
No questions, Nathan.
So Tara, Disha, any question here?
No, all good from my end.
Okay. So next would be to read a text file, right? So let's say I have some data in text file and I want to read that data. And then there would be writing the data to text file, and then finally it would be reading the data from one text file to writing the data to another text file, right? So we will look into reading the data from text file, writing the data to text file. Naresh, any confusion here? Sorry, I forgot to ask.
No.
Okay. And then reading the data from one text file and writing to other text file. Okay, so this would be pretty lengthy program. So let me delete this all. Reading data from text file. So for reading the data, we have discussed that we will be using buffer reader, right? And we will be using file reader. For reading and writing, we use buffer reader and buffer writer and file reader. So these are the two classes we use. So first what we will do, we will create the object of class file reader. File reader will be equal to new file reader. Here we have to pass the name of the file. So let's create one file first. Let's create one text file first, and let's give the name as Java here. Okay, and this, let's say I have Selenium, Java, TestNG, then JUnit, then we have TDD, BDD. Likewise, I have some text here. Okay, I will take the path of this file. And I will pass it here. Okay, so I have created one file, and in that I have inputted some text. This I have to import from Java IO. This will throw an exception, so I will have to add throw declaration. File not found. Why it is giving exception, guys? Any idea?
If at all file doesn't found, there should be something, right?
Right. So let's say if the file is not there, then your JVM should be capable to handle that situation, right? So that's why it's like a checked exception. Okay, so that's why we have to have this throws keyword. Otherwise, you will have to surround this with try and catch. Okay, so the next line is what this document is, what this line is doing. This line is actually open the specified text file in read mode. Okay, now what I will do, I will create the object of buffered class. Buffered reader br equal to new buffered reader, and then I will pass the object of file reader here. This is also from buffer Java IO. Once the object is passed here, I will create one string type variable, and I will start one loop while line equal to br dot read line. I'll explain you guys everything here. Just give me a minute. Is not equal to null. Around with that's exception class. CISO line br dot close ob dot close. All right. Let's try and run this and then see whether you are able to. One second. I'm so sorry, guys. So
Is that document open?
let me check. So maybe I will have to close
Yeah, actually, both
Yeah.
the names are same. Yeah.
It is giving problem. File not found description. It's correct only. Why it is giving error? Restart Eclipse.
Reusability.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. So basically, what is method in Java is Java methods, or any language, if you say Java method is a set of statement steps that are grouped together to form an operation. So basically, methods are equivalent to functions in a structured programming. Okay. So in structured programming, as in C, right? We use functions. So there could be built-in functions, or there could be user-defined functions also. In Java also, we use either built-in in Java, or maybe for any other object-oriented programming language. So it could be Java, C++, any object-oriented programming language also. We can use built-in methods, functions, or user-defined methods. So for nomenclature purpose, functions, what it is called in structured programming is called as methods in Java or object-oriented programming. Right. So this is method. Why we use method? So let's say if I want to perform some operation multiple times, right? So I will have to write code for that again and again. So to avoid that, we write that logic in a separate function or separate method, and whenever needed, we call that method with the different approaches we have to call that method. Right. So it's not like, I mean, we can have loops also. So loop is different, method is different, right? So loop will be like iterating quite quite a number of times whatever you are defining, right? It would happen only once, as in like if you want to iterate 1 to 10, it would iterate 1 to 10, but method is different. I mean, whenever you want to perform that operation in your program, you will call that method, and that operation will be the result of that method will be the output what you want. Okay, so whenever we want to perform same operation multiple times, we choose method. Okay, so those are basically for code reusability. So we don't have to write the same code again and again, and with the help of methods we can reuse the code. Advantage, as in cons, pros, what are pros? So code reusability is first. Code reuse, it reduces the size of code. Second is code maintenance. Code maintenance is also easy if we have separate methods. Understanding of the code is also easy if we have separate methods. Types of methods could be two types. The first is built-in, and second can be user-defined. Now, what are built-in methods we have? So basically Java is having a rich set of built-in method which we can use directly. For test automation purpose, following four built-in methods are required. First is a string method, which we have discussed in yesterday's session, right? Second is array methods. Third is number methods. Fourth is character methods. Okay. And apart from this, there can be user-defined methods also, which you will write on need basis, right? So in this, we can have two category methods which return a value. In this category also, we have two subcategory: calling method by creating object, or by invoking object. That would be a non-static method. Second category could be call method by class name, or without invoking object. That would be your static method. Second category in user-defined method could be a method which does not return a value. Method which does not return a value. Here in this also I can have two subcategories: call method with invoking an object and call method without invoking an object. So where do you write these methods, guys? Within main program, within main method, or outside main method?
Outside main method.
Outside main method. Okay. And from where do you call these methods?
In main method.
In main method. Okay. Can I call method? Can I, call method from another user-defined method?
Like there are two methods, and you want to call the built-in method using user-defined method, is it?
So let's say I have two user defined method, right? The first user defined method is called from main method, and second user defined method is called from first user defined method. Is that possible?
I'm not sure.
User defined can be called from main method, right?
That's possible. That we call as nested methods. Okay, so we can write methods and we can call one user defined method in another user defined method. Okay, now let me stop. So we write main method, we write method outside main method and call method within main method. Okay, now we will see the syntax of how we have syntax for the methods. So first category is method with return a value. So first category is method which return a value, and in that call method by invoking object. That's a non-static method. Okay, so syntax for this would be access modifier followed by return type, then since this is a non-static method, so we will not write anything, then method name followed by arguments, because this is returning a value, right? Then method body, like finally return statement and closing braces. Yeah, so this is the syntax. Okay, so this is argument, right? So these arguments are optional, it's not mandatory, right? Even without argument also the method can return a value. So argument could be in this form: string uname, string pwd, or it could be in this form: int a, int b, int c. It could be combination of different data types also. If you are not passing any argument, it would be no argument method. Okay. Now, how do you call the method? What is the syntax for calling method? That will be for calling non-static method, we have to create the object of the class. Now, how do you create the object of the class? Class name, object name equal to new class name, right? So this is how you create the object of the class. And for calling the method, variable name equal to object name dot method name. And here, if you are having any values of argument, if that's a method with argument or with parameter, right? So let's see this in editor quickly. So let me have one method first: public int add and int num1 comma int num2. right? So here what I am doing, int num3 equal to num1 plus num2, and I am returning num3. Okay, from here I am creating the object of class demo d equal to new demo. Then using this object I am calling the method add. I am passing value 30, 20, and then I am storing this in integer variable. So making sense? So public int add int num1 num2, right? So this is what is the syntax. Access modifier, return type, method name, and then arguments. Then we have method body and finally the return statement. So this is the method body and this is the return statement. And for calling that method, we are creating the object of class demo, and then we are calling the method with class name method with object name. So d dot method name followed by whatever the arguments the values for the arguments you have in the method. And the result of this, since this is returning the integer value, we are storing this in an integer variable, and finally we are printing this. So let's try and run this. So we are getting 30 plus 20 is 50. Okay. These arguments are quite optional. I can remove this from here. I can take the values directly into, let's say, num1 equal to 20, num2 equal to 30. And here, if that's a no argument method, then we don't have to pass anything. The result would be same in this case also. Okay, so arguments are optional. It is on need basis. If you want, you can have. If you don't want, you don't have. Okay, so that's a method by which returns a value and for which we requires a object. Second category of this would be method without invoking the object. So method which returns a value and without invoking it. Without invoking object. So that would be a static method. Syntax for this would be there would be little difference in this. So access modifier will be there. Then I will have to write static keyword, or so static is a non-access specifier. So I will maybe I can write static only. Then return the type, and then followed by method name, argument, method body, return statement. So these are all optional. Calling a method, we don't have to write, we don't have to create the class. So we can directly call with the class name, or even without a class name. So it could be without class name also. So directly you can call the method, and you can just store this in a variable. Okay, so we'll do what modification is required here. Who will tell? Disha? Am I audible?
Thinking.
Okay. In meantime, if Sitara can tell me what modification is required here.
Can you go back to the syntax, please?
Okay. So this is syntax. Naresh? Yeah. So can you tell me what changes I will have to do in the previous method, which was non-static? Now I am calling a static method.
Calling the static method.
Yeah.
Class name. We can use class name.
Should I go to editor, Sitara?
Yeah,
Yes.
just go to
Okay.
editor.
Okay. So
Class
first
name.
I'll just ask for modification in method. What changes I will have to do in method?
Pass the okay, the public static int add.
Public static int. Okay. Then what else? Is
Here
this
you can
method
just,
complete now?
It's complete.
Okay.
It is.
It is complete. Yeah. It is, I mean, you should say that with confidence. It is complete.
yeah.
Yeah. Now what changes I will have to do here?
You can use demo dot as it is static.
Demo dot what?
Demo dot add.
Demo dot add. Okay. Good.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. And I will have to what
Pass
I need to do for adding.
Arguments.
No, we haven't given arguments in here, right, in the method, so no need to pass that.
Okay. So I want to print the addition of these two. How will I do that?
Okay, then int some variable equals to demo dot add.
Int var equal to demo dot add. Okay.
And print that var instead of res.
Print that var. Okay. Do I need this line?
No need.
No need. Okay. All right. Do I need this line?
No.
Can I write like this?
Okay.
And can I print like this?
Okay. Yeah, this would be the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
So this is the other way, right?
Yeah, correct.
Sitara, is this right?
Yes.
Okay, Naresh, you getting it right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm getting 50-50. Okay, so since this was a static method with returning a value, so we have used static non-access modifier here. And finally, the static method can be called directly with the class name. So demo is a class name, and even without a class name. Okay, so that's the trick here. That's all. Okay, so that's the second one. Now, the third one was method which does not return a value. Okay, so method which does not return a value. So only little modification here also. What changes I have to do here, guys? So method which is not returning any value.
So first thing, the return thing will not be
there, and a void should be added instead.
Void,
Yeah.
yeah. Void, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And return statement you can delete.
Return statement I can delete, okay. Calling is fine. Calling of method is fine.
Values of argument, okay, arguments are given, right? Variable object name dot method name. Yeah, calling is fine.
Okay, good. All right, and the next one was method which does not return a value. Call method by invoking object. Method which return a value. What changes I have to do here? Method which return a value, and I need to call that method without invoking the object. So I think this syntax is fine, right?
Yeah, so no, the class name dot method name. Yeah, that is fine. Yeah.
And here, what I have to do? Method which does not return a value. I'm so sorry. Which does not return a value.
Delete the static and add
Static.
Sorry, return type void.
Return type would be changed to void, right? And then finally the return statement.
Return
statement.
Okay, and then it's all good. Okay. So example of this. So let's say I am taking the example of method which does not return a value, and that's a non-static method. So instead of this, I will write here void, and then let's say what it is. I'm just doing comparison. So this is the method which actually requires the value from the method, right? So add when we need some output from that method, right? Now what we will do, we'll just check the condition and then print here only. So what I can do, I can just check int. I can write int a equal to 10, comma b equal to 20. If a is less than b, see, so a is big, a is small, else see, so b is small. Now here what I am doing, I am just creating object of demo b equal to new demo, and I am calling this d dot compare. Okay, and let's say I am taking the argument in method. So int a comma int b, and here I am passing 10, 50. Okay, let's run this and check whether this method is doing whatever we are expecting from here. So I called this method using the object of the class, and I passed 10, 20, 10, 50. 10 was assigned to A, 50 was assigned to B. Then it performed, it checked the condition, A is smaller than B, then it is printed this line. So method is, calling of method is fine, syntax is also fine, right? And if I need to make this static, what changes I will have to do? I will have to put static keyword here and call this method with the class name demo.compare, or I can call compare 50, 10. I don't need this statement now. So in first output, it will print what?
A is small.
A is
It will
small.
take the 10. Yeah.
And in second output, and in second method call,
B is small.
B is small.
okay, good. So I have called this method twice using class name and without using class name. Yeah. So my method declaration part is done here. Now we will start with user defined, with built-in methods. So basically in built-in methods, we have already seen string methods, right? So I will not repeat those methods here because we have given almost a class for string methods. Okay. So